What's up, my dudes? Valkyrja, and today I want to talk to you guys about Yukong and basically how I think you should build Yukong, how I built Yukong, and one thing I think a lot of people get wrong. Well, the first thing I want to talk about is Yukong is harmony. Yes. However, you can see my Yukong's attack's pretty low. I actually need to up that by investing to her relics more. You can see my Yukong has really bad relics, like genuinely pretty rough relics just in general. I definitely want to try to up them more. I want to try to get her more attack. However, I think a lot of people are going to build Yukong wrong in the fact that you should build Yukong as a damage. You should build Yukong as a DPS. You should invest into her personal damage simply because she does do good damage and it does not affect her buffs. Now, what do I mean? Why should you build Yukong as a DPS? Well, the way this works is it increases the attack of all allies by 80% while it's active, but it's not dependent on Yukong's attack, meaning that you can invest into crit rate, crit damage, because it also affects her. Because her own buff affects her and makes it so whenever you use her ultimate that does 323% of damage, it's going to be really good. And then this applies this beforehand too, so this can hit very hard. I've hit like 30-40k of her ultimate sometimes, which for the amount of investment I have in this character, you can see the traces too. For the amount of investment I have in this character, that's a lot to me. At least I think so. I think it's a good amount. I think it's something that's very notable and it's really, really sick. I think she's a very, very strong character. Then her talent makes it so basic attack additionally deals imaginary damage equal to 65% of Yukong's attack, increasing the toughness reducing damage of this attack. It can be triggered every other turn. So basically the way you play Yukong is you normal whenever you don't have a target to buff. You normal, so you deal additional damage, you deal additional toughness damage, so you do a lot of work with her even as you do damage with her. She is always contributing something even whenever there's not a good target for her. Like let's say for example I have a lineup coming to where I have a Yukong buff lined up, but I have like Locha or Jingyuan, or Locha and Clara, and neither one of those is really like a good target, because with like Jingyuan you want to make sure you can buff up Lightning Lord, or with Clara you want to make sure that you can buff up whenever she's about to get hit. So neither one of those situations would be a very good target. That would be the situation where I basic attack. I just basic attack to go ahead and just do some damage and do toughness break. And that's the thing, is Yukong is really, really, really good at just dishing out damage. So it's why I fully recommend building her like full damage. You could even go the 4-piece of the imaginary set, which is a really strong set. You just have to have somebody else apply debuffs to get the most out of that set. But this is what I run. I run 2-piece fleet of the ageless. That way she can support the team by giving more attack. And also I can put her on 4-piece musketeer. So her basics do more damage, she gets more speed, and she gets even more attack. So she can deal more damage herself. And keep in mind, I don't have the best relics for her. But you should not build Yukong as a harmony character. Do not build her like Asta. Do not build her like Tingyang. Build her like you're building your Sela. Build her like you're building your Jingyuan. Build her like you're building Clara. Well, not like Clara, because you want speed. But build her like you're building a damage. And you're going to see a lot of success with her that way. We'll just go into some random... Let me find a MOC floor that basically has weakness at the start. Oh, this is a good one. This is actually a really good one to showcase it. So we're going to bring a super crack team. We're going to bring you, and you. Just super cracked. We're just going to run through it. This is MOC 9, by the way. MOC 9. Now, the one downside to Yukong that might come up here is the fact that she's relatively squishy. She's a pretty squishy character, just like most of the other Harmony characters. She's relatively squishy. She has 100 aggro value, which can come up. But we should be fine with Locha. We should be fine with all the characters we have. And it's going to allow us to really, really try to pop off here. So I'm pretty excited to show you guys what Yukong can do, because I've been hyping up Yukong for a while. I've said she's better than Tingyang, which is something I kind of stick to because I do value what Yukong brings. But over time, my opinion's kind of changed after playing with her a ton. I don't know. It's a lot closer than I used to think. I still value her personally over Tingyang, but I think it's a more personal thing. Alright, now we use Sampa's nasty little gremlin laugh, and then we start off with Yukong's talent, because our Yukong's technique, because this is a Yukong showcase. I'm trying to convince you guys to play damage Yukong, and this is how I'm going to do it. So, we're just going to just play like I always do. I'm not going to do anything strange or indifferent. I'm just going to play like I always have. So because her own buff affects her, we can see here, we can see the turn order. Here's what I was talking about earlier. You have Blade, who doesn't want to attack, and you have Locha, who does want to attack, but he's not going to contribute anything, really. You can see 7k on a normal is pretty good for the amount of investment I have into him. So I think this, like I said, I think Yukong is genuinely just a really strong character. I think that's all there is to it. So then we're going to do this with Scampo. We're going to let them start coming back, let them do their thing. And now is a situation where I actually do want to go ahead and do this. So we're going to pop this. We're going to pop her ultimate. Who do we want to ult? Let's ult you. You're pretty low. We might be able to finish you off. So we're going to ult you. It didn't crit, which is tragic. It's still a lot of crit rate. It just didn't crit. It happens, I guess. But now we have crit rate, crit damage on Blade. So Blade can pop off here with his skill. And no ultimate, unfortunately. But now you can see what I meant. Like, Blade was able to do a little bit more because he had the extra crit rate, crit damage, but he can't really make use of the attack. So it can be kind of tragic sometimes. So now we use Scampo here. Marstruck is healed. Dope. And because we just did the basic skill basic, we can do basic again now, and it'll deal extra damage. You can see it did 2 instances of damage there, but this enemy's not weak to imaginary, so this might take a second to actually burn this one enemy down. Never mind, we have our floor buff that we're good to go with. So now we're going to go ahead and do this because we do want Sampo to go ahead and have lots of attack for his turn. That way he applies higher DOTs. And then we're going to do this. We're going to pop this. And this is going to allow us to really start popping everything here. Okay, then we're going to pop this. I know we're popping this before the buff removal, but you got to trust me on this. There's a specific reason I'm doing everything. We're not in range. Now we are, right? I think we are now, right? Yeah, Scampo. Love me some Scampo Koski. You can see 20k procs. Love Scampo. Anyways, now I think, let's see the order. Yeah, we're gonna want to do this. It's gonna give us our ultimate. Then we're gonna ult him in the middle. Boop. Only 8k again. It's like it refuses to crit because I'm showcasing it. I swear it's not this hard to crit with her normally. It's just bad luck. Yeah, you can see 73k. Pretty good. Pretty good. We don't have skill points for Blade, but that's fine. Once again, no skill points, so we're just gonna let that be. Keep her alive. Bop bop. Bop bop. That's fine. So now we're gonna remove the buffs. We can see there's Sampo here. Can Sampo apply break here is the question. I think he can. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna use the skill. We're gonna use this. Oh, super close. Super close. Sampo with the watch the face, dude. I know I'm not using Blade right. I'm not giving him his buff stance. I know it's going to drive some of you guys crazy. But this isn't a Blade showcase. It's a Yukong showcase. Alright, so now we're just going to do the normal here. We're going to do the basic. We're just going to do this because he's already down. Like, there's nothing more can really contribute to the break, so I'm not really worried about it. So now we're finally going to give Blade his buff. Finally going to do it. And then we're going to do this. Okay. And now with Yukong, we're going to do this. We're going to buff up herself. Okay, now you're going to crit, right? Yeah, that's more like it. About 20k is about what I've seen normally. Like I said, I can on breaks. She has hit like 30, 40k, but it's because break does stuff. Break does fun stuff. So we're going to go ahead and pop this next. We're going to see if we can kill off that. I think we did. I think we're good to go. Yep. So now we still have Yukong's buff and she's buffing herself, which is good. So we're going to actually activate Sampo here. Sampo's ult while Yukong's buff is active to once again get the higher attack. So we apply higher DOTs. And then we're going to actually do this. And then Yukong's buff is out, so we're fine. We're just going to pop this. We're going to focus on the horsey. And then we're going to do this. We're going to wait for Sampo's turn, actually. We kind of got to let him just rock right now. Because if I use Locha, Locha is going to weakness break both of them, which is bad for me. So we're going to use this just right now because Sampo's getting ready to weakness break, which is pretty important for this floor as a whole. So we're going to do this with Sampo. And then we're going to do this to break. And we're not using Sempo's ult yet. We're saving Sempo's ult, but we're getting ready to. Now we use Sempo's ult to increase the DOT damage and inflict break. This is slowly turning into a Sempo showcase. Alright. So, you can see DOT's proccing. I love DOT. And then Locha being a god. 22k DOT. Sempo very nice. And then we're going to... Do I want a Yukong buff here? If I Yukong buff, it'll be Yu. It'll be your ultimate, which will be good. Yeah, we're going... Well, I can't crit rate buff. I can only... Yeah, so we're actually not going to Yukong buff here. They really are tired of Sempo. They're focusing the hell out of him. Okay, so we're going to do this. This is going to trigger Blade's passive. This is why I was debating Yukong's buff. But if I had Yukong ultimate here, it would have been perfect. Okay, now we use Scampo to break again. Alright, so now I think we actually Yukong, because I think she gets her ult, right? No, she doesn't. Sad. Hit the fox. He's just really tired of Sempo.
Eternal sleep and dead return.
Alright, so we're gonna do that. It's gonna mostly hit him. That's potentially not good. Oh, wait, this works. Yeah, this works. So we're gonna do this to delay his turn with imaginary break. 21k, very nice. Then we're gonna pop. And then we're gonna heal Sampo, activating passive. Then we're gonna do this. We're going to just Sampo normal here because he doesn't need to do anything else. This. He comes back. A little bit of DOT, not much. He's out of prison. Mortality means forever, really. Uh-oh. Okay, so the game kind of lagged up there for a second, but we're good. Nothing crazy happened. You can see we're still on the same point. I ain't cheating you guys. So we go ahead here, and then we Sampo ult. Because he's charging extra. And there we go. And GG. That's that. So yeah, Yukong is very good. You just have to be very aware of how to use her, which is why I tried to vocalize my thoughts on while I'm doing it. You just have to be very aware of when you're using Yukong and when you're not. And keep in mind, this is floor 9 of MOC, right? So these enemies have very high defenses, they have very high toughness, whatever. And she still helps out a ton. She can even help Blade some, like I said, with the crit rate, crit damage buff. If you're doing the event, she is a godsend in a lot of the event because you run through the waves so fast that you actually make a ton of use out of her buff. And you're able to make a lot of, get a ton of value out of her buff. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've been spamming Yukong in the event. Specifically on the 2nd and 5th stage. She's been really helpful on those stages. Like, super helpful in lining up and doing tons of damage. Yeah, I've been really abusing Yukong on those stages. But yeah, Yukong's an absolute monster. Don't build Yukong like a Harmony. Build Yukong like a damage because she can do damage. I know mine doesn't do damage, but that's not because the character, that's because the tools I've given them. Anyways, thank you guys for watching as always. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. How do you build Yukong? Do you build Yukong as pure support? Do you just put whatever you can on her? Or do you build her as damage like I do? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.